Hey everybody, it's GauntletX and welcome back to another Tinkerer's Cube Draft. Let's see what we've opened up here. Let's see what kind of sweet stuff we can do. So in this draft we have Angel of Invention, which is just a really powerful aggressive white card. Very good top end for just like a mono white weenie deck. Play this, give your whole field +1/+1. You could even make some tokens with it, or you can just have it all in one package as a 5 mana 4/3 Flying Vigilance lifelink. I think Angel Invention is just a really powerful card, and it's mono-colored, so it leaves you open to whatever secondary color you want as things go on. I think it's definitely one of the strongest cards in the pack. Primal Might is also pretty good. Good removal's kind of hard to come by in this cube, and this is probably the best removal spell in green in the cube. Really good in an aggressive deck because you're getting extra damage in. Lorehold Command is also quite powerful, but it is 2 colors, so it is going to tie us into 2 colors right off the bat, which isn't generally the greatest. I think I'm pretty fine with Angel of Invention here. Ooh, mono white life gain for now. Archon of Sun's Grace. This is just an exceptional white card. If you have any enchantments in your deck, it's going to be fantastic, but it fits really well into 2 different strategies in this cube. It's super good in white-green enchantments, and it's also really good in white-black life gain, where you can get a lot of triggers when you're gaining life. So Archon of Sun's Grace is just an exceptional white card in this cube, and I'm pretty happy to take that as the follow-up to just another powerful white lifelinking card in the Angel of Invention. So yeah, seems like a really good start here. Drakehaven is really powerful if you get a lot of cycling cards, but I did try to draft it once, and I just did not see enough cycling stuff, so I don't think there's as much cycling as the cube as there should be for Drakehaven to be super powerful. So I do want to mention that. Other than that, kind of a bit of a weak pack. Yeah, pretty easy Archon of Sun's Grace here. Ooh, and Clarion Spirit? Wow, we can just have a really aggressive white deck right off the bat. Clarion Spirit's very good when you have a lot of 1 mana cards. So you have a lot of 1 and 2 mana cards. That way you can play Clarion Spirit turn 2 or turn 3. Either you play a 2-drop turn 2 into a 2-drop and a 1-drop on turn 3. That's the idea with the Clarion Spirit, and then you're spitting out even more creatures, so really good if you can get that aggressive curve to go with it, so I really like trying out the Clarion Spirit here. Master Splicer is really good if you have a lot of flicker effects, and the cube does have some flicker effects in it, so Master Splicer can be really good as well. It's also 5 power and toughness for only 4 mana, because as long as the Splicer's out, it's making that Phyrexian Golem a 4/4, so you're getting like a 4/4 and a 1/1 essentially, so Master Splicer also pretty sweet. It's actually a little close between Clarion Spirit or Splicer, but because I already have a 5 and 4 mana card, I've got some good higher end cards for an aggressive deck, so I'm going to take a good cheap one now, the Clarion Spirit. And now I think is when we're going to start looking towards a secondary color. We have Disciple of the Sun in this pack in white. That would be alright. 5 mana for a 3/3 lifelink and return a permanent with mana value 3 or less from your grave to hand. So kind of a Gravedigger effect. It can bring back our Clarion Spirit after that's died in the early game. This would be fine. It does seem a little expensive, a little bit slow to me, but it is pretty good value. We could take that and stick to just white here, but we could also take Grim Dancer for going black-white life gain, because this is a 3 mana card that can always just be a 3 mana 3/3 lifelink, either lifelink Menace or lifelink Death Touch. So really good in black-white life gain. Or we could just take like a powerful aggressive card in red or green here, Trial of Strength being a big creature, Ambush being a good removal spell, and like Banneret being a really cheap creature. I think I'm going to go Grim Dancer here. I think that black-white life gain has always been quite powerful in any cube that they've put it in, so the fact that we have 2 really good lifelinkers already, picking up a 3rd could make our deck really good if we get to hop into that strategy. So what do we have now? Thwart the Grave is really good if you have a lot of Clerics, Rogues, Warriors, or Wizards, so let's check our card types. None of our cards are the right types for Thwart the Grave yet, but if you do get the right ones, this is a Reanimator spell that just picks up 2 creatures from your graveyard if you have Clerics, Rogues, Warriors, or Wizards. So in that kind of deck, it's super sweet. Other than that, we have Dancing Sword, pretty great aggressive card, right? 2 mana to play it, 1 mana to equip, +2/+1, and then you can turn the sword into a 2/1 flyer when the equipped creature dies. Yeah, we have just good aggressive white stuff. Let's take another good aggressive white card here. White-black dual land. I do love having dual lands in whatever I'm playing, but we're not tied to black yet. So say we don't end up playing black, we could take one of the powerful red cards here. Abzan Falconer is for like the +1/+1 counter strategy, but if you don't have the +1/+1 counter synergies, it's pretty slow. Right now we just have Angel Invention could have counters on itself, but often I'll just want to make servo tokens anyway. So we have very little +1/+1 counter stuff right now, so I don't love Falconer. I like Maze Mind Tome, it's good card draw in any deck, but I also just like the good aggressive red stuff like Chandra, spitting out some tokens to slap your opponent with or let you recast your instants and sorceries from grave. Yeah, Tome, Chandra, Bright Climb Pathway here. I'm going to take Tome. I don't know if that's super correct there, but it's definitely the most likely card that we end up playing because it's completely colorless. So whatever we decide upon for our second color will work out. Well, Reaper's Talisman here is another card that seems sweet for the life gain decks. As long as your creature's attacking alone, it's a Death Toucher that also drains your opponent for some life. It's really good with creature tokens as well. We don't have a lot of them right now. We just have Clarion Spirit making 1/1 tokens. I guess Angel Invention does make 1/1 servos. So yeah, it's great with tokens, great with life gain synergies. Try out the Reaper's Talisman here. Animation Module. This makes servos whenever we're putting +1/+1 counters on our cards. And then it can put more counters on our cards. It's interesting. That or like a Warlock class here, which is just a good little draw spell that will slowly make our opponent lose some life throughout the game whenever creatures are dying. Yeah, the fact that this just like replaces itself on level 2, you look at the top 3 cards of your library, put one into your hand. I like that there. Alright, Black-White Life Gain looking open here. Pick 9 Silver Smoke Ghoul. Decent card for the strategy. 3 mana for a 3/1. But at the beginning of your end step, if you gained 3 or more life this turn, you bring it back from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. So definitely a little below average power toughness for the cost, but it has a great sacrifice ability and recursion if you're gaining life frequently, which we're going to try to do. So Silver Smoke Ghoul is pretty sweet for us. Alright, now we have to just take like a backup card. I guess we can take Expanded Anatomy and then we have a lesson if we pick up any learn spells, which there are a good amount in this cube. Alright, well, I'm gonna assume that I took that. Wait, what happened? It disappeared and now it's auto-selecting Arnie Slays the Troll? No! I don't know how that happened. Okay. So we just entirely made Expanded Anatomy just disappear from the pack altogether. I want somebody to get a pack with just 0 cards now. That was so weird. So we could take the Black-White Dual Land or the Bone Splitter. I like Bone Splitter for just having more 1-mana cards with Clarion Spirit, and it's good with like little flying tokens and stuff. But maybe it was the Black-White Dual Land there. I don't know. I probably overvalue Bone Splitter, but I just remember how sick of an equipment that is, and like Pauper. Okay. So now we are in pack 2. Open the Graves is a slow card, but it could potentially make just a ton of zombies. It's really good with Silver Smoke Ghoul, because that card just repeatedly comes back from our graveyard. Harmonious Archon did a boatload of work the first time that I drafted it. In the green-white deck I drafted it in, there was like no synergy with it in our deck. It was just like we were just green-white enchantments and happened to have it as our 6-drop, but it was still just an excellent late-game card. Yeah, I kind of just like the Harmonious Archon here. Oh, Catcher's Attendant's just a really good value card. You can cycle it and then you can embalm it, bring it back from your graveyard for 5. So that's sweet too. Inkling Summoning sweet if we have Learn cards, but we don't have any Learn cards yet. I think Attendant, Open the Graves, and Archon are all fine here, but Archon just really impressed me last time I played with it, so I'm going to pick it up again here. Alright. Kind of like Poet's Quill. We actually don't have any lessons yet. I tried to take an Expanded Anatomy instead of this Arnie Slays the Troll. So if we had an Expanded Anatomy, Poet's Quill would be a really easy pick, but even without it, Poet's Quill is just a really good card. The +1/+1 lifelink is a pretty big pretty big buff. I guess when most of our cards already have lifelink, it's a little weird, but the fact that you learn when you play it's always a good deal. Alternatively, there is Cathar's Crusade, which can absolutely take over the game if you play this and then you play a card like Harmonious Archon or Angel of Invention the next turn. That's just like 3 creatures in 1. You know what? I think I've convinced myself. I want to try out Cathar's Crusade here. It is a lot of mana. Like, you're just tapping out on turn 5 and doing nothing that turn. But it can set up for just an absolutely absurd play the turn after. If we play Harmonious Archon, we're playing 3 creatures in 1 turn. If we're playing Angel of Invention, we're playing 3 creatures in 1 turn. Either way, that'd be 3 +1/+1 counters on everything on our board. So Cathar's Crusade can be pretty dang good in that kind of stuff. And I could even take a Malphus squad just to have more cards that combo with the sort of token synergy we're going for now with the Cathar's Crusade. So we could take Malphus squad, Evolving Wilds here. Could take Environmental Sciences if we end up picking up any learn cards, but still haven't done that. I guess that Poet's Quill, if it comes back around, I'll take, but yeah, Malphus Squad or Evolving Wilds. Malphus Squad does seem like pretty weak by cube standards, even if it does synergize a bit here, so I might just want to take the dual land. Yeah, I'll just take the mana fixing here of the Evolving Wilds. Timuret Calls the Dead. So on the first 2 turns, you mill 3 cards, then exile something from grave to make a 2/2. On the third, you gain some life, scry some. Seems pretty slow and kind of weird unless you have some good use for self-mill. Loxodon Life Chanter also seems pretty slow, but if you have like a high life total, this Life Chanter can become just ridiculously large with that 6 mana ability. You can also restore your life total pretty well. Try out a Life Chanter here. We could also just take another mana fixing card, Terramorphic Expanse. I think that'd be fine too. I like Life Chanter or Expanse over the Timuret Calls the Dead. But I will take the Life Chanter. So now Omen of the Sun is interesting. It's good with Cathar's Crusade, and it's good with anything that triggers off of life gain. It's good with our Archon of Sun's Grace, because it'll be a constellation trigger. It's generally kind of a mediocre card, but I think there's enough ways that synergize in our deck that Omen of the Sun's actually pretty exciting here. We're definitely not like the artifact deck or the enchantment deck, so Nettlecyst isn't very good, so it's kind of just between Omen of the Sun or Malefic Scythe. Kind of like Omen of the Sun better here. So Blood for Bones, sack a creature, bring something back from your grave. Can be good with all of our creatures that like make a creature when they come into play, like our Angel of Invention and our Harmonious Archon, but at the same time, Blade Splice is just such a good deal. 3 mana for 4 power and toughness. It's spread among 2 creatures, so it's excellent with Cathar's Crusade as well. Really good with flicker effects. I'm just going to take the Blade Splicer here, but Blood for Bones would have been fine as well. Now we just have Relic Amulet, but we're not playing a lot of wizards or instants or sorceries or treasure maps. I guess it's just treasure map here. We're just going to end up with the 2 good value artifacts again that fit into pretty much any deck. Mazemind Tome and treasure map. I guess we can get a third one because there's nothing in white or black here. Now we have Bag of Holding as well, but I think Bag of Holding's weaker than the tome or the map, so we're probably cutting that. It is a 1 mana card though, so if we do go for the Clarion Spirit and need a lot of 1 mana stuff, I guess we could have that for that. Alright, now we actually have a lesson in case we get any learn cards. Tenured Inkcaster, another card, just seems like too much mana for a cube format because it was already borderline playable in its own draft format, but only thing on colors, so we'll slap it in here. Terramorphic Expanse, pick 12, get on in here. I'll take that mana fixing. Oh, kind of sad to see both Spider Spawning and Sethron here pick 13. I think both of these are good cards. There's a lot of self-mill in this cube, so if you can draft the Spider Spawning deck, it's super fun. And the Minotaur card, it's like, sure, there's not going to be a lot of Minotaurs, so you're not going to get a lot of Minotaur Tribal, but just by itself, it's 5 mana for a 4/4 and a 2/3. That's already just a really good rate. Alright, so here in Pack 3 we are finally going to get a little bit of life gain synergy to go with all of the lifelink that we have in the Ajani's Pridemate. Now whenever we're gaining life, we're actually doing something. We're getting some plus and plus one counters onto this Pridemate, making it a very big creature very quickly. Anybody who's played on Arena for any amount of time has probably already played against about 12,000 Ajani's Pridemates because of the casual constructed queues. Ooh, Falconwrath Noble. Don't mind if I do. I think this card's pretty excellent. It's really good in like red-black sacrifice and also real good in black-white life gain. But really just any deck, this is just a great ability to have on a creature. Draining your opponent for a life anytime any creature dies, not even just your own creatures. So any games where there's a lot of combat between creatures, this card is really going to be draining your opponent, and I'm very happy to take it here. And now I think I want to take Cast Out and just have a good removal spell. 4 mana for an instant speed enchantment. When it enters the battlefield, exile a non-land permanent for as long as it's on the field. But yeah, we're pretty low on removal. I don't think we have any right now, so really important to pick it up when you see it. This is just like the first time that I've seen it, and at least the first time I've noticed it. And that removal spell is also just excellent with Archon of Sun's Grace, so that's pretty cool. Ooh, Griffinary, excellent with the bigger lifelinking creatures, and excellent with Archon of Sun's Grace. Get on in here. Skullport Merchant's a pretty good card even by itself. And Space Godzilla is really for the Reanimator deck. Yeah, Griffinary just by far makes the most sense for our deck. Bloodfast. Pay a bunch of life to draw a bunch of cards, and then it flips into a land. You can sack creatures to gain life. I don't love that, but I guess that's an option. Same with Shale here, because we could cast both halves of this, which is cool. Don't really think we're going to be a Witch's Cauldron deck. I don't think I want to sack a lot of creatures, even if I do have some Aristocrats-style cards, like Falconwrath Noble, that are getting triggers when things are dying. I just don't think we have enough creatures. Yeah, I don't think we have enough creatures for the Cauldron. We'll just take the Shale here. And Pitiless Plunderer, Ornithopter of Paradise, or... well, that's pretty much it. Guess I'll go with Ornithopter of Paradise.
I am proud to fight by your side.
Thank you very much for the subscription, Lollipop. I'll take Ornithopter of Paradise. I think like 2 mana Dorks are pretty fine in basically any deck. And this one's completely colorless, so it goes into any deck. And it's looking like the rest of the picks are just going to be cards that don't work for us, like Karn's Bastion. Here's the only thing that isn't just off color, and it just doesn't work in our deck. Yeah, that's pretty much going to end it here, but that's fine because we have 27 playable cards here, 2 of which are lands. So yeah, we've got a full deck here. Yeah, it's definitely a fun queue, Lollipop. Yeah, I don't think any card we see from now on is going to go in the deck, but as I said before, that's fine. The deck's pretty much complete. We did it. So I get to cut 2 cards out of here. I don't love Inkcaster, because we don't have a lot of +1/+1 counter synergies, but it does still drain life, which is interesting. I don't know, probably cutting that, and then 1 more card to cut. Plate Armor doesn't have any synergies, it's just a decent equipment in general. So that's on my chopping block. Ooh! Isolated Chapel. Pick 11. Nice dual land. Happy to see that. Perfect for us. Yeah, I mean, I think these 2 are my least favorite cards. Plate Armor and Inkcaster here, so I'll just cut them. And then that is the deck. How many instants and sorceries do I have? I have no instants and sorceries. Okay, we are not going to play the Hall of Oracles then. That puts a +1/+1 counter on our creatures whenever we play an instant or sorcery and then tap it. We don't have instants and sorceries, so we'll get rid of that. But yeah, here's the deck. It's just already done. So there's a little bit of +1/+1 counter theming here with Shale, Cathar's Crusade, but mostly it's white-black life gain. You did 4 or 5 cubes, got to 7 wins twice in both drafts. You were the bad guy with the red-black aggro AFR style. Red-black has been pretty sweet. Yeah, that was one of my 7-win runs. I think I've done about the same. 4 or 5 cube drafts, 2 7 wins. I have 7-1 with green-white enchantments and red-black aggro, but our red-black deck was really focused on the whole sacrifice theme. We had both Falcon Wrath Noble and Blood Artist, which was absurd. When you can get both of those cards together, you stack on so much damage so quickly. So just both of the creatures that drain your opponent for a life when anything dies. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and turn off all the parallax card styles here, because I am just not a fan. But then we'll call it a day. Call it a deck. Oh, that's very nice. Yeah, the Krenkos are both very good ways to get some tokens out to start sacrificing some creatures. So what shall we name this deck today? +1/+1 counters, there's life gain. I'm gonna name it Harmonious Crusade because it just sounds kind of cool. Oops, all permanents. Is the deck all permanents? Oh yeah, there's no instants or sorceries. That's a funnier name for sure, Veldin. Yeah, I forgot. No instants or sorceries. Oops, all permanents is a good name for this. And I also forgot to change my lands. We're gonna have to go back to the drawing board after this first game. Definitely need to put the pretty lands on. And Oops, all permanents is a pretty nice name. I love that I finally set up channel points rewards on the Twitch channel. So there's a channel point rewards for naming the draft deck, but I'm so bad at naming draft decks that I'm just always going to go with whatever the first chatter calls the deck. Or the first viewer. Hey, Lemon Pie, how's it going? Long-time YouTube watcher? Well, thanks for all the support on YouTube. It is pretty late here. Well, thanks for stopping by. Yeah, no need to stick around if you got to get to bed and all that. Yep, my streams are very, very inconsistent. They are just whenever I have the time for it right now. But next week, I took some days off for the launch of the new Innistrad set, so I will definitely be doing a couple long streams next week. So hopefully everybody has some time to come in and interact with me live if you're interested in that. So next week, the first few days of Innistrad's launch, should be a lot of live streams then. I am super pumped. All right, well, I'll offer the trade for Lannery here. I guess they could have a giant growth, but the worst case scenario is we just lose our 2/2 token, which is not that bad. Oh, we actually get to kill the Lannery there. Well, that's really sweet. So I don't have a way to gain 3 life here for the Griffinary, so I don't think, don't even mention exams, this is a safe space. Got a lot of students in the chat here. Oh. Yeah, I don't have a way to gain 3 life, so I don't love Griffinary here. I think I'd rather just slap a Reaper's Talisman onto something. For life drain. Yeah, sure. I mean, it's more damage. We do 4 damage by attacking with this with a talisman on it, instead of just doing 3 damage by attacking with both. So I'll just do that. Hey, Ryvoke, how's it going? This is Oops, all permanents, but I named it something less fun. I already forgot what I named it. I just named it the first word in two of two of our card names because it sounded cool. Harmonious Crusade is what I called it. It's basically white-black life gain, but we also have a little bit of a token theme, a little bit of a +1/+1 counter theme. Ooh, Revel in Riches from our opponent, so they are doing the treasure thing. If they get 10 treasure tokens, they will win the game. But we've got a decent aggressive start here, so hopefully we can outrace them. And now we just have cast out, so if they get anywhere near 10 treasures, we can just cast out the Revel in Riches and be very safe. Alright, well, now there's no reason not to play Griffin Airy, even if we aren't getting a Griffin token here. And then I'll go ahead and sacrifice the Omen of the Sun in their end step. Indulging Patrician. I was going to say Patriarch. In their end step, if they gain 3 or more life, each opponent loses 3 life. Magmatic Channeler. So our opponent's just like 5-color fun stuff, I guess. Oh, Angel of Invention's so good. Yeah, I really like Angel of Invention with Shale out. And Treasure Map does seem... Treasure Map actually seems good here, but slow. Because like scrying a few times and drawing some cards is good. But... I don't know, I'll keep it. Seems like a good value play, even if it is a bit late. Alright, what's our best play here? I do like splitting up the Angel and then getting a token on all that. I think I'm just gonna do that. I should have played the Angel first. It would have been 1 more damage, because the Angel gives everything +1/+1, including the 2/2 I just attacked with. So we would have hit for 3 instead of 2 if I played Angel first. Just kind of instinctually doing everything main phase 2. Treasure Map's a power play. I have more treasure than you, Revel in Riches player. I feel like our opponent might have been on like a stipulation draft here, because they're just playing like 5-color stuff. They have a Revel in Riches, Indulging Patrician, so they have like a Treasure Tribal card, a Life Gain card, an Instant Sorcery card, a Pack Tactics card. They might have just put themselves up to the challenge. They're like, I want to play every archetype. When it's a cool deck. It's a cool deck from our opponent, but it doesn't look like it's going to work too well here. They have Paladin class out, which can just single-handedly be a pretty powerful card, but our board's pretty ridiculous at this point, so even if they get this to like level 3, I'm not under that much pressure. And I can cast that out. Ooh, maybe they didn't know it was Phantom and just rare drafted? That would be unfortunate. I did see that I forgot to... I forgot to mention in my first Tinkerer's Draft video on YouTube that it's a Phantom event, and I felt really bad about that, because I got like one comment of somebody that didn't know if it was or wasn't. They're like, do you get to keep the cards? I was like, oh my god, I can't believe I didn't mention that, because I always try to do that in the first Cube Draft. Because that is like a really important thing to know the second you play the event. It's not a lot of rares though. Not as many rares as the regular cubes. But compared to just a regular draft, yeah, Tinkerer's Cube has a mountain of rares. If I turn everything into 3/3s, it's actually just more damage here, so I just play Archon attack with everybody, and we're well over lethal. I think we were lethal without Archon. But yeah, like our opponent has 1, 2, 3... They have 3 rares and a mythic in their grave. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rares on the board. They have 10 rares and 3 mythics that we've seen. So they definitely have the kind of deck that looks like they might have just rare drafted it. This might be rare draft the deck. But it's also 5-color with a mana base that's working out. They've got a lot of dual lands, so opponent's deck is pretty sweet here. even if we just have a ton of tokens and flyers and stuff to close this one out pretty quick. All right, there's the scoop them up there. Well, 1-0. No, 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 no! It didn't even pop up with the cancel button. All right, well, the cancel song brought to you by Veldin, because Veldin gave me a better name for the deck, and then I forgot to put it in. Well, this hand's pretty sick. We get to go Clarion Spirit turn 2, and then on turn 3 we can cast both a Treasure Map and a Warlock class. Muscle memory is crazy. Yeah, muscle memory is a heck of a thing. But yeah, we get to curve out with Clarion Spirit turn 2 to start slapping for 2, and then on turn 3 cast 2 spells to get a Spirit. Ooh, I'd love to play a Blade Splicer though, because that's just so good. But I also do really like getting the Spirit token. What's actually better here? Getting a Spirit token or getting a Blade Splicer out? We get a 3/3 First Striker onto the board. It's probably Splicer. Yeah, I'm going to go Splicer here. I think that it was going to be between Blade Splicer or Ornithopter plus Warlock class, because with Ornithopter we potentially have 4 or 5 mana next turn, which is really nice. So I definitely like Ornithopter over Treasure Map there if I was going to do the double spell, but... our token got bounced. So our token's gone forever. Well, pretty sad. So I'll double spell now. Now I have a Dancing Sword I could play instead. Dancing Sword and Warlock class, or I guess one of these 2 mana cards plus the 1 mana card here. I like the Sword best here. Ornithopter of Paradise maybe gives us the 5 mana next turn to play a 3-drop and a 2-drop, but that's only if we hit a land. And even if we don't hit a land, Thopter into Sword next turn. That's true, because we can equip the sword even if we don't play it that turn. Yeah, Thopter first would probably have been better there. Curious Obsession is the play. No haste on the Terramander, so the Curious Obsession just dies to its own ability. That is sad, but I have done that before. I have done that before in Standard. It's a bad time. It's a bad time. That's a DK face moment there. I feel bad. I'm just gonna double spell here because it's just the simplest thing to do when you have Clarion Spirit out. I really feel for our opponent there because I've done that before multiple times with Curious Obsession, just with that exact card. Oh, that's a good emote too. F. The sad Luigi. The N64 Mario games have such great reaction images, and I'm so happy for that because it allows me to make all these random emotes while I'm waiting for the first Twitch check to come, so I can get custom emotes for you all if you want them. So I can Grim Dancer and slap a sword onto something and scry with treasure map. There's really like no reason not to do everything here. Just throw a sword onto a flyer. Yeah, last line of text is usually flavor text, so who's got to read that? I like Death Touch against like 1/5s and 1/3s and stuff. I don't love Menace here because they have like token producers, so I'm gonna go Lifelink Death Touch there. When I say token producers, I mean just the one Mystic. Alright. Things look pretty spicy over here. Got a lot of flying going on. We got a dancing sword. Shh. Alright. There's a Shimmer Dragon from our opponent. Big old 5/6. If they get some artifacts out, they can start tapping them to draw cards. This card is super sick in Historic Brawl. But that could just be because every Historic Brawl deck I make has at least 50 artifacts in it. Let's grab a Swamp with Terramorphic Expanse. And then we'll use Treasure Map to scry now that our deck has been shuffled. Because I don't want to scry with map and then see something that I want and then crack an Evolving Wilds. You scried and then went for an Evolving Wilds end of turn, not doing that again. I have done that as well. Any mistake in the book in Magic the Gathering, I have done time and time again. On film. Griffin Airy. Well, we have a 3-power lifelinker out, so that seems fine and dandy to me. We get at least one 2/2 flyer out of it, because we'll get one in the end step whether or not Grim Dancer dies here. So let's get that Griffin Airy out. And a 3/2 flyer no longer attacks Inwell because they have a 5/6 flyer, so let's just buff this Grim Dancer. Get more damage out of it. But I'm assuming this Grim Dancer is probably just going to like trade for the dragon here. It might not. They might not block with the dragon, but I think that'd be the right thing to do. Because if they don't block it here and kill the Grim Dancer, it's just going to keep giving me 2/2 flyers with my Griffin Airy. Alright, they're keeping the Shimmer Dragon. They might have some artifacts in hand. They're trying to get some card draw off of it or something like that. Would I rather scry one or draw the best card out of my top 3? Definitely best card of the top 3. So let's level up the Warlock class. Ooh, a Johnny's Pridemate. Shale is definitely not good this late, but we could cast Embrose and have a 4/4 that can keep putting counters on our stuff. Embrose or Pridemate? I honestly think Embrose might be better. I'll take Embrose here. Oh, we've got Ornithopter of Paradise, so we can even scry. Which is super sweet. True, I can kill the spirits with Embrose. Killing the Blade Splicer is really good, because I don't have any Flicker in this deck, so the Blade Splicer is like super bad right now. It's even worse than the spirits. Yeah, Embrose is a bad Skull Clamp for us. Deal 2 damage to a creature after putting a counter on it, so the creature would die, we'd draw a card. Maybe we want bad Skull Clamp here. It's so insanely difficult for me to remember that Ornithopter of Paradise taps for mana. Because I've played so many Ornithopters in my life, and Ornithopter is just a 0 mana 0/2, so I just see a flying 0/2 named Ornithopter sitting here, and I'm like, okay, that does nothing, disregard it. Alright, so Embrose doesn't have haste or anything, so we don't even really need to do that pre-combat or whatever. Just attack with Grim Dancer, I guess. Keep sending in the Grim Dancer. They're down to 10 now, so now it's going to really hurt if they take this. Yeah, I'm pretty in love with this. No longer enjoying this. So 4/4 trades into the 5/4. Well, couldn't live the Grim Dancer dream forever. Yeah, there's nothing on board we can do. I changed my mind. This is disastrously bad. Yeah, the Ornithopter of Paradise is a strange one. Because it's like a... It's just a fun, like, time spiral sort of call-out to two old-school cards. Like, it's putting Ornithopter and Birds of Paradise together into one card is the idea. Which is pretty cool. But it's so hard for... Oh, no. It's so hard for my mind to forget about... or to untie it from just being an Ornithopter that does nothing. So I could use Treasure Map here, and then I have 4 mana, right? Because I flip this, and then I have 3 treasure tokens plus 1 from Ornithopter. They have 4 cards engraved, so I could pay for this, but then I'm not drawing any cards off the Treasure Map in the future. Like, I could sack those treasures to draw cards. So the question's really, like, how much do I want immediate impact of getting Embros right now versus card draw over time? I feel like Embros is also just card draw over time, so I should probably just save Embros. Because Embros I can just chip away at our 1/1s and draw cards. 2. Yeah, I'm gonna save Embros here. Because Treasure Cove is just going to sit here drawing 1 card per turn. Embros can sit here drawing 1 card per turn. Embros does the thing. And potentially more. So I could put that elsewhere. Alright. Also potentially less. Potentially gets unholy heated. Well. Opponent is really getting back in here. This Terramander's probably activating now too, right? They have like 7 cards engraved. Terramander's probably pretty cheap to activate. Turns into a 5/5 flyer. It's got more than 5 power and toughness in the sky though. Yeah, this is pretty crazy. I could block Shimmer Dragon with everybody to kill the dragon, and then I just have a single 1/1 flyer left. I have a 1/1 flyer and a 0/2 flyer, so Terramander's just going to wreck me. I'm at 30 life here. I'm just going to take this right now. I don't think I want to do any blocking in this guy until I equip my Dancing Sword to something. Alright, Bag of Holding, what do you have for us? A land. Get in the bag, Plains. So... they have 5 instants and sorceries in their graveyard. So that can be a 5/5. They definitely have the mana to activate that. So they basically have a 5/5 and a 5/6 in this guy. We can have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Two, 3, 4, 5. It costs 5 less to activate, so it costs them a blue and 2. It costs them 3 mana total. They have 4 up. They can do it at instant speed. So that can be a 5/5 on blocks as well. So we can't like Dancing Sword and attack in here. We just Dancing Sword and hold it on blockers. All right. So now we block either Shimmer Dragon or Terramander, and then we hopefully do it again. Oh, nice. Yeah, I didn't notice it in the giant drop-down menu because I'm used to it just being redundant stuff I already know, like flying and adapt and all that. So let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They kill all of those, and we're stuck with a 2/2 flyer and an 0/2 flyer. Is there a better block than this? Yes, there is. They kill 2 of these instead of killing 3 things. Because this is 6 toughness and they have 5 power. So now we're left behind with a 2/2 flyer, a 1/1 flyer, and an 0/2 flyer. Yeah, this is actually pretty good. And now we can put the sword onto the other 1/1 flyer. Oh, they don't kill the one with the sword on it. Okay. Well, I can gain 2 life with Omen of the Sun here. 2 life is not 3 life, though. But I also get to scry with it. Probably use Bag of Holding before I do anything, like usual. No, 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 no. That's ability number 2, not ability number 1. We've done it again. The big punts on camera. Well, that's horrible. Anytime they damage us, they're drawing a card now. Never miss a land drop? Are you saying I should have played the swamp there? I've been holding it because I wanted to use it with Bag of Holding, but I accidentally did the 4 mana card. Or the 4 mana ability instead of the 2 mana one. Oh, this is brutal. So they draw a card if they hit me here? Do I chump block now? Probably not. Oh, because I cracked the bag for a land drop like I really wanted. I super wanted lands. That's fair. Oh, they got Chart of Course as well? Murmuring Mystic, stop. Please stop. It hurts so much. Yeah, losing the Bag of Holding there is really, really bad. Because we get to get the best card out of our top 2 every turn, instead of just drawing 1 card blind. So that was super sad. Not a good click. Not a good click at all. No, Bone Splitter makes the... Bone Splitter makes this flyer a 5 power flyer, then I just eat Terramander. Untapped thinks Blade Splasher's Wingsteed trainer? Well, at least Untapped is doing something now. So that is cool. So now, I only had Bag of Holding for holding on to lands, right? Yeah, I should just be playing all my lands now, because I don't have that much mana yet. I do need to get to like 7 to use level 3 here. There's no Massacre Worm in this deck, correct? I don't think Massacre Worm's in the cube. It might be. I haven't seen it yet if it is. If it is, everybody's just scooping it up real quick. I don't think it's mobile compatible. Oh my god, they have Creative Outburst to deal with our token here. Draw a card out of the top 5. Silver Smoke Ghoul's something. Yeah, Creative Outburst is pretty great here. Well, let's set up another blocker for the 5/5. We can get the Silver Smoke Ghoul onto the board, and then... It's not like it's ever going to attack in, really, right? Massacre Worms Phyrexian now. That's really cool, Rivoke. I don't think the Ghoul's really going to attack in, so I'll probably just sack it to draw a card here. Because it's just going to get blocked by a 1/5. Charmbreaker Devils. I'm afeared. I am afeared. Beginning of their upkeep, they get a random instant sorcery from their graveyard back to their hand. That's the really important part. Charmbreaker Devils also gets a lot bigger every time they cast one. But the super big part is that they're going to get a card back from their grave every turn. And it could be Creative Outburst. But it could also just be like Unholy Heat or whatever. And it doesn't really matter what card it is if they have Murmuring Mystic out. Well, these are some cards. 5. We have 9 mana as well, so we can double spell for Clarion Spirit. So we can Cathar's Crusade into Noble? Top deck Warrior over here? This is something. I mean, I don't know if this is enough, but this is something. Look at this. Alright. Okay. Okay, top deck. I mean, do we attack in now? Probably not. We have Falconwrath Noble. Yeah, this is a really good deck from our opponent. So because we have Falconwrath Noble, any combat that happens is just like a net gain for us, right? Two, three, four, five. We have 5 attackers. I feel like if I don't attack here, they're just going to get something that can kill Noble and then kill Noble and I'll just cry. And then, like, nothing matters. But my stuff doesn't have, like, Vigilance here, so if I attack out, I just can't block Terramander well anymore, so they just send that in because I just blocked there. I don't know. I feel like I don't really have the good attack there still. They got Enthusiastic Study, so they can give +3/+1, trample, and learn a card. What did they get the first time? They got Environmental Sciences. They might not have another lesson. We could hope for that. Warlock is not level 3. If Warlock was level 3, that was probably just definitely just slam the attack there. But it is level 2. Oh. Oh, they're gonna just storm kill us with Charmbreaker Devils? Cast a bunch of instants and sorceries to buff Charmbreaker Devils' power and then give it trample here? Okay. Alright, that's 12 power. That's 12 power. It's gonna be 16 power when they cast Enthusiastic Study plus the +3 from Study. It'll be 19 power with trample. Alright, We're tinkering. Both players are certainly tinkering in this game. Oh boy. Yeah. Yeah, the big tramples is bad. But they're offering the kill on Charmbreaker Devils here. They're giving me an opportunity to actually kill it, which is super important, because if not, this thing's gonna like take over the game regardless, picking up instants and sorceries. So +3/+1 trample. That'd be an 8/6, so a 7/4 still trades there. This is going to be 16 +3. It's going to be 19. It's going to be a 19/5. So that's enough to kill it there. 19 with trample. 19 -6 is I take 13 damage. I don't take any damage there because there's no trample. So I survive if they throw the trample there, and I survive if they throw the trample there. So I think this is a mighty fine block to me. Like, we'll survive and gain some life here, and we get rid of Charmbreaker Devils and Terramander. Do we gain enough life to not just die to them attacking with a bunch of birds again? Because they're going to have a field of 6 plus 1, that's 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 creatures here. 11 creatures against 5 blockers. 11 minus 5 would be at least 6 come through, so we take at least 6 damage. We have to be on like... Oh, if 3 die, we get our zombie back. That's true. Yeah, I'm gonna go like this. Aren't they dead on crackback if I level Warlock class? Well, they can block like everything, because they have like so many bird illusion tokens, so I don't think so. Actually, no. Yeah, they are. Oh my god, Rivok, you're right. Oh yeah, Grazalax can just save these if they messed up. All right, but they're not gonna do it. They're gonna take the trades. Yeah, because Noble. So if they don't block, they take enough damage that Warlock class doubles up all the damage I dealt and they die. And if they do block, their chump blockers die, or my creatures die, and they get drained from Noble, and then that doubles up with Warlock class. So yeah, you're super right, Rivok. We can level up Warlock class here, and it's probably lethal. Especially because we're getting Silver Smoke Ghoul back now. That's 5 drains right there. Oh yeah, they're at 6. We can turn this into another attacker. So it's another creature that dies to the Falconwrath Noble's trigger. This was an insane game of Magic, yeah. And I misplayed super hard earlier this game. I sacrificed our Bag of Holding for just no reason. I'm pretty sure this is that same game. But I guess, is this the same game where our opponent Curious Obsession? It is! Myself and my opponent just accidentally threw away a great draw engine. Archon of Sun's Grace, that's pretty sick, but I just level up to win, right? Yeah, I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Even without Warlock class, they're just dead here because they just like block with 6 things, they die, and I drain. But I think I still need to do it because they could block with things that aren't going to die. Alright, they scoop them up. Warlock class level 3. It's just super good with Falconwrath Noble. Yeah, really good call out, Rivok. I don't know if I would have noticed that without. I might have gotten too excited about playing an Archon of Sun's Grace and putting a counter on all my creatures with Cathar's Crusade, if you didn't mention the Warlock class. Oh, zombie's only on our turn? Dang. That's true, the zombie didn't come back there. Alright, that was only 2 games. We're like an hour into this draft, and that was only 2 games. But they were intense games. This is super fun. Alright, we gotta rename it Oops All Spells and put some pretty lands in here. No removal the grind. We have a removal spell. We've got Cast Out. 1 removal spell. 1 removal the grind. Our opponent played a bunch of removal on us that game. They played a bunch of burn spells and stuff. Kept playing cool stuff, and it got like Unholy Heated and then Creative Outbursted, and it was crazy. Alright, Velden, thanks for stopping by. It was super fun. Hope you have a good night. Get some good sleep. Alright, we're on the play. Turn 1 Warlock class, turn 2 Ornithopter of Paradise, and then we can throw a Bone Splitter onto our Ornithopter of Paradise. That's what I'm talking about. Send in with the Thopter in the sky. Or I could just Omen of the Sun, I guess. Attack for 2 this turn, or make some 1/1s this turn. I I want to just start attacking people in the sky. It's probably stupid, but I enjoy it. Get in there, Ornithopter. It's a very pretty Ornithopter. Soul Herder. If I had any removal in this deck, I would blow that thing up immediately because this card is sick. Any good enter the battlefield effects are just going to keep happening over and over again, and the Soul Herder gets bigger and bigger. So that is a big, big, big problem. Let's see what we draw off of Warlock class here, because I'm going to play Pridemate before I play the Omen of the Sun. Dancing Sword's good. More equipment to throw on our birds. We definitely don't need more lands, so that's just the easy choice there. They're going to play like a Master Splicer here, get a Golem, and then get another Golem in their end step. No. Alright. We have not hit the worst case scenario for Soul Herder. They actually just have no enter the battlefield effects yet. Yeah, this cube has a lot of really good enter the battlefield effects, so anytime anyone plays blink cards like Soul Herder, I always get very scared. They can do some really good stuff with those. So I could slap Dancing Sword onto the Ornithopter of Paradise, and then I don't have enough mana for Omen of the Sun anymore. Oh, this doesn't do anything when it hits me, right? No. The Ninja will draw a card, but I can create a couple 1/1s to block to stop that. So I kind of just want to play a land attack both here, and if they make any weird blocks, I can gain a life, get a counter. Getting late in Germany, have to work early tomorrow. See you all. Well, thank you very much for stopping by, Lollipop. It was super fun, and thank you for the subscription. I hope you have a good night as well. It's always really cool to hear that there are viewers just all over the world right now. That's super cool. Alright, so this is going to look super suspicious to my opponent. But maybe they'll still just attack in, and I'll get to kill Ninja the Deep Hours with our Omen of the Sun. Oh, no problem at all, Lollipop. I'll keep making it as long as I keep enjoying this game, which will probably be forever, because I have never stopped playing Magic since I started. Started back in Shards of Alara. So there will be plenty more to come. Should I try to kill Soul Herder here? I mean, they don't have any enter the battlefield effects on board, so maybe it doesn't go off, but it probably does. Like, we know Ninja of the Deep Hours is going to draw a card every turn if I don't kill it here. I feel like I want to kill Ninja over Soul Herder. Just stop the immediate card draw from my opponent. And then here comes the really good enter the battlefield effect. No. Chart a course, they need to draw into another creature here. And plate armor, alright. Wow, this is the saddest Soul Herder I think I've ever seen. I feel really bad for our opponent, because usually that card just absolutely slaps. You start with Theros, so you're pretty new. It's always fun to play and watch. The recent Theros? Theros Beyond Death, or the first Theros? First Theros was actually a decent bit ago now. Yeah, Theros Beyond Death, that was the most recent one. That was... I don't even remember when that was, but that was 2019 or 2020? That's still in standard, isn't it? So it was 2020, right? Everything blurs together for me, so I forget it all. Face Fetters on the Ornithopter? Well, I guess I could just move all my equipment to the Pridemate. And then I could still cast Grim Dancer, but I'd be casting it with a Cathar's Crusade in hand, which would be a little sad, but I think it's still probably Still probably the play. Okay, alright, well, go to 2 and play a Menace creature. Menace lifelink here. Menace Death Touch. It would be cool to get more counters on Ajani's Pridemate, but I think being able to kill 2 of their creatures that blocking it seems really important if they play any big, super good blockers, but they have played nothing. They just ran out of cards. Ran out of good stuff. Well, 3-0 for Oops All Spells, the white-black life gain deck. Things are going real great so far. Shards of Alara, when I started the game, that was 2009. Theros was January 2020, so right at the turn of the year. Yeah, it's pretty recent. It feels like forever ago, just with the state of the world and everything. Like, I feel like for pretty much everybody, it feels like it's either been forever or it's been like no time at all, like just the blink of an eye. For me, it feels like it's been forever since before 2020. Feels like it's been a lifetime. But perception of time through the whole pandemic stuff is really has really been changed. It's super weird. You started with Arena's beta, so Dominaria as a set. You started the game with Arena. That's so... Both of you started the game with Arena. Time flies for you. Yeah, I don't know what's happening here. The game's not giving either of us our hands, but it's putting a timer on somebody. Well, I'm just going to sit here this time. Last time this happened, I rebooted to make sure that it wasn't actually roping me when it looked like it was roping my opponent, but I'm literally live streaming with perfect internet. Like, I have tons of viewers witnessing this, so if the game is secretly roping me and I lose this game, then I'll just reimburse, I guess. Alright, cool. I have no idea what happened there, but our hands are here. But yeah, I started in 2009, so it technically wasn't Shards of Alara, it was Alara Reborn was the first set, because that was back when they were doing 3-set blocks. So they did Shards of Alara, then they did Conflux, then they did Alara Reborn in like April of 2009, and that's around when I started, because I started in March. I started on my exact 13th birthday. Exactly when I was old enough. It is always fun to send an angry email, so we'll stick around just in case. But unfortunately, it might be Vernon who gets to send an angry email today. Block Limited was definitely wild. There were pros and cons to it. With Block Limited, the cons were that like you'd be drafting in the same world all year. So like, you know, in the fall you would get Shards of Alara, and you'd be like, oh cool, Alara, this new plane with these 5 shards, and all the cool stuff you're doing. This is a fun draft format. And then it would come to winter, to the early winter set, like January, February, and it would be like Conflux. So it would be 2 packs of Shards of Alara and 1 pack of Conflux, and you'd be like, I'm drafting Shards of Alara with a little bit of more spicy stuff in it. And then all the way in spring, it's like, then there's the 3rd set. Now there's Alara board also. Then you're like, now we've got the full Alara experience. So the cons is that, like, thematically, you'd be drafting cards from the same world all year. But the pros are that draft formats with 3 blocks in them, or even 2 sets in them, are incredibly replayable. Like, you're going to have a more varied experience playing 10 drafts of Shards of Alara block than you would playing 10 drafts of any singular draft format. Just because there's so many more cards, because there's 3 sets of cards. So there were pros and cons to it. I guess we just start with Warlock class and start drawing some cards here. It was definitely more flavorful as well. You have a lot of time to like soak in all the flavor of the worlds. And in standard constructed as well, you would get a lot of decks using just a ton of cards from like 1 or 2 different planes of existence. So standard was really flavorful too, where like a Grixis control deck was like literally Grixis cards, instead of just like a compilation of cards from a bunch of different planes. Our curve is really low here. I don't think we need the Ornithopter Paradise. I'm just going to take the Tome, and I guess our game plan this game is to draw 1,000,000 cards. So we're playing against mono-green creatures here. Scourge Colony turn 2, which is a 2/2 reach that turns into a 4/4 when they have a bunch of lands, and then Varus, which lets them venture into the dungeon every time they play a creature, and when they complete a dungeon they get a 2/2. I mean, they have some pretty scary stuff out here. Like, I think I cast Grimdancer here, and I definitely give it lifelink to combo with Griffinary. I'm at a loss for the second ability I want. If I give it Menace, I can attack in pretty well, because even if they double block, I can just kill Varus. But if I give it Death Touch, it defends super well. If they play bigger green creatures, which is quite likely, seeing 3 green lands from them, I think I'm going to give it Death Touch here. I think I'm more concerned with blocking well than attacking well this game, because we've got a lot of card draw coming up to try to grind out a longer game. How's it going, Dark Ritually Nether Spirit? I probably butchered the name a little bit. But how's it going? Welcome to the stream. I don't know why I took that trade. I looked away for a second and I forgot about my Griffinary. Without the Griffinary, that trade looks really good on board. But with the Griffinary, I was supposed to wait. Yeah, welcome. Thank you for the kind words on the about the YouTube vids. It's always cool to hear that people are enjoying those. Oh, Dark Ritual into Liliana the Veil and Nether Spirit, old school Pox stuff. Cool. Dark Ritual Lily, Nether Spirit. That's a cool name for sure. And yeah, we all make dumb plays. You should have seen earlier, I accidentally sacked my Bag of Holding literally today. I have sacrificed my Bag of Holding in this exact draft with just a land in it. So instead of drawing and discarding a card, I just sacrificed a bag to draw a land card when I already had like 8 lands in hand, or on board. Everybody makes mistakes now and then. It was sweet. I won that game in the end, but I don't know if I earned it. Opponent might have some kind of combat trick or something here. I think it's waiting on them. But I think we just take 5 here and we're cool with it. Everybody has those days. There's a song that has like lyrics like that, but I forget what it is. So our opponent is not mono green. They just got stuck on green man at the start. They're green, blue, and red. Make the weirdest misplays, like blocking a 3-1 first strike with a 3-3. Yeah, sometimes you just go on autopilot a little bit, and you're just like, alright, 3-3 against 3-1, sure. Seems good to me. Oh, that happens a lot, Ryvoke. That's a very common one. Oh, the song is Hannah Montana? I couldn't tell if you were actually trying to quote the song or if my mind just went to that. Excuse me. I don't think I have time to just sit here and dirtling drawing cards with like tome and maps, so do I just play a ghoul to block something here? I guess I can play ghoul and set up the bag. This seems fine. Trade with the pugilist. I guess we still get trampled over, but dealing with that seems pretty good to me. They have 5 lands out, so they're 3 lands away from making the pugilist like an 8/8. Alright. So it looks like this all just goes off. Alright, they're just going to draw a card. That's what they were waiting on. Cool. Our opponent does have a 2/3 reach, so we should not attack in with our 2/2 flyer. Just speaking of attacking into reach creatures. If they didn't have a reach creature, I'd absolutely be attacking here, because I don't really see any future where I want to trade off this noble anytime soon, but we're pretty low on creatures, so it might have to happen at some point. Risen Reef from our opponent. Look at the top card of their library. Put it into play if it's a land, or draw it if it's not. Oh yeah, that 2/3 is very good for the cost in AFR drafts. To where like even here in a cube draft, it's still pretty good. So Lost Mine of Phandelver, creating a 1/1 goblin. I think I want to kill the pugilist because they're at 6 lands. If they get 2 more lands, this is going to be an 8/8 trample, and I just don't want to deal with that nonsense. I have like 1 removal spell in this whole deck. So I'll just let them keep venturing into the dungeon. I would rather that than they have an 8/8. I feel like our opponent might be like building a Lego set while they're playing or something. They're definitely doing something. Because the times that they're pausing are really weird to me. Alright, let's grab our second white source. Reaper's Talisman. Not bad. I really need a better blocker than I've got right now. I guess I hold off the 1/1s right now. So they just hit me for 4 a turn. It's got some time. I can play Tome, Map, and then Scry 1. If I want to just fully draw a card, that'll be 4 mana to do that, so I'd only have 1 mana left. I can play Talisman and then Tome and draw a card. I'm going to go for the Scry 2 here. Tome can Scry 1, Treasure Map can Scry 1. And that'll get Tome a counter, so it gets closer to gaining the 4 life. And if we have a Griffinary out when we gain the 4 life, we'll get another blocker, which is pretty important here. Oh dear. Alright, well now we are desperately trying to scry into our removal spell to deal with Ulvenwald Hydra. Because Reaper's Talisman only gives Death Touch on attacks. Can't have Death Touch on blocks. So we cannot deal with that here. They're going to attack with everybody to trigger their pack tactics to go farther into the dungeon. Put a counter on the Risen Reef. Well, we'll kill the goblin. Yeah, the Hydra's not good. The Hydra's not good at all, Lemon Pie. I can't get over how good the the Mario 64 or the Nintendo 64 Mario Party character faces are. Like, they surprise me every time I see them, even though I put them there. This seems too slow to help. Yeah, we just have to kill the Hydra. We need, like, cast out, so any creatures we hit are just getting tossed on bottom. Oh, Omen of the Sun. That doesn't have trample, does it? Omen of the Sun actually is pretty good here. Yeah. Bane of your end step if you gained 3 or more life. So we can't... Because we can gain 2 life here. But we don't gain another life unless a creature dies here. So I think we're just slapping out Omen of the Sun to chump block Hydra and drain them for some life. It's going to take 3 mana to do that, so I can't do that and also throw a Reaper's Talisman onto the Noble, and I can't attack in because the Hydra has reach. So, I think we save our mana to use Treasure Map again. We just use Treasure Map and Mazemind Tome. Yeah, pass the turn, hold up the Omen of the Sun. They're 1 land away from making Scourge Colony a 4/4 here. We might be at our first loss. I think that'd be 3-1 for this draft. We've had a really good start, so we can take a loss here. This Outlander has just given our opponent some really good value, making it all the way through the dungeon here. But then just our low amount of removal is definitely coming back to bite us here, because this Hydra is just going to go off. 4 counters on the tome for it to go off. Yeah, I'm going to scry 2 instead of draw 1 here, so I get the treasure map closer to going off as well. But I want to see what's on top of our deck before I decide how I want to block here, because I might actually want to have Falkenrath Noble trade with the Scourge Colony here just to get that off the board. Like, I can't not block Ovenwald Hydra, so I can't just block the Scourge Colony with 2 1/1s, because then I'll just die. So if I want to kill Scourge Colony here, I kind of have to lose the Falkenrath Noble as well. Archon of Sun's Grace. Cast Archon of Sun's Grace. Treasure Map's going to go off next turn, which will be 3 mana, so we spend 1 to get 3, so we'll have 4 mana plus 3 treasure tokens, which means 4 mana to cast Archon, 2 mana to cast Griffinary. We Constellation Trigger, get a 2/2 lifelinker. So that'll be a 3/4 lifelinker and a 2/2 lifelinker. Alright. That's really big. So if I block like this, I take 6. If I block like this, I take 6 and then I gain 1, so I'll be at 4. I really feel like I have to just cash in the Falkenrath Noble to kill the Scourge Colony. Because if I don't, like, I'm facing all this stuff, sure, I have a 3/4 and a 2/2, but that's not going to kill the Hydra or anything, so we're just going to keep chump blocking the Hydra. We need blocks for these other creatures. Yeah, this is really sad, but I kind of think I have to kill Colony with the Noble here. Vizier of Many Faces for another Ulvenwald Hydra. Well, now they're both 8/8s because they grab another land. I think we made the best play we could have because that's the next land for the Scourge colony to be a 4/4 there. But probably doesn't matter now. We do survive one more turn, at least. Because now we pop the treasure map to get 3 treasures, to cast Archon and Griffinary, which is going to be good. Angel of Invention is going to be good too. We're going to have an Archon and a Pegasus token. Chump block with a Pegasus, Archon blocks anything else, so we just survive. Can we cheat and conjure a Wrath of God? That would be fine. Yeah, I like this to fabricate 2 more blockers. We just need like 2 chump blockers per turn. So we have our 2 chump blockers right now. Arena-only keywords, are we sure that's not possible? I mean, they could make a card that conjures the Wrath of God, but we can't just make it in our draft deck. Or put it in our draft deck out of nowhere. Well, now they have a Spectral Sailor too, so they're going to draw like 2 extra cards per turn. Things are getting dramatically worse. They activate the big old man land, but they activated it tapped. Happens a lot. It happens a lot. But you love to see it when you're playing against it. Because you always just see, oh, they're activating as a 6/6. You're like, oh god. Oh no. And then it's just tapped. And I'm like, okay, well that's cool. Can actually kill both of these because we're gaining 5 life here, so we'll be at 12. Take 10, we'll be at basically 2. But then I'm at 2 life with 1 creature on the board. I'm gonna do this. This might be dumb, but I'm gonna go to 2 life. Because I can make a lot of creatures next turn. Because I scry 1 just to get the counter on the Mazemind Tome. And so now I can Angel of Invention, get 2 chump blockers there. And then I can pop the Mazemind Tome to get another chump blocker there. Because we'll gain 3 life. So play this and fabricate. 2 servos into play to chump block the Hydras. We're at 2 life, but I'm about to gain a bunch of life. Maybe I even just attack with Archon of Sun's Grace to gain enough life to get a 3/3 here. Because we'll still have 4 blockers. And this is like the only time I get to attack in and chip some damage off. I kind of like that. Because I'm assuming they don't block here. They go to 9, we go up to 6, and we make a 3/3 from the Griffinary. If they do block, that's also great for me. I'll just kill the Spectral Sailor. Seems like a good deal. Okay, they do block. Alright, I'm fine either way. So now... I think I want to draw a card off this treasure token with Treasure Cove, but I'm going to hold on to Maze Mind Tome because once we put one more counter on this, we gain 4 life. I'd rather do that during our next upkeep. That way, if we don't happen to attack in with life gain, we still get a Griffin. So I think we just pass turn here. Oh yeah, we get the ghoul back too, the Silver Smoke Ghoul. I totally forgot this was in our grave. Happy to see that back. That'll be a chump blocker for the Hydras. If they don't find a way to get trample, we're actually maybe getting there a little bit. Because sure, they can hold those Hydras back as giant reach creatures, but with the Reaper's Talisman, we can just throw this onto a 2/2 and drain in. Alright, Zamone's drawing some cards. They have 2 mana up here. They could crack the egg to gain some life, but they just play a Pelt Collector. See if they attack in. I highly doubt they attack in here. Because they're facing all these flyers. Yeah, no attacks. So let's make sure to set a stop for the start of our next turn. And then draw a card from the Treasure Cove. Alright, land there. Now we pass to our turn, and now I think now I scry with Maze Mind Tome. So even if I don't attack with enough lifelink, I'll still have gained 3 or more life this turn. Plus I get my scry off. Now we draw Johnny's Pridemate. Seems good. We can even draw the card off of the ghoul, and the ghoul's going to come back in the end step if we have enough mana for that. So in order to get attacking here, I think we have to play a Reaper's Talisman on something. And I think I put it on the flyer so they can't just chump block with a Pelt Collector. Because they don't have any flying creatures themselves, so now the only way they could block this is by blocking with an Ulvenwald Hydra. Which would just be brutal for them. So this way we get 5 damage in. That's the most damage we can deal to them without attacking with Archon. I think attacking with Archon's bad, because if we draw any enchantments, Archon's going to be great. So yeah, then we still have 2 mana to play Pridemate, so we can play Pridemate so that it gets a counter when we attack. And then we can also sacrifice the ghoul before our end step, and it'll come back. It'll be tapped, but we've got plenty of blockers now. Alright. Oh, I guess the Vizier they can replay from the grave with the Embalm, so it's not the worst block for them, but it'll be summoning sick again. It'll cost them a lot of their mana. But we are going to get another Griffin in the end step, so it's also not a bad creature for us to lose. Oh, Cathar's Crusade is the draw. That's so good when we have Archon of Sun's Grace out, so just immediately when we play the Crusade, it's going to come with a Pegasus, and by coming with a Pegasus, it's going to get a +1/+1 counter on all our creatures. Things are really stacking up here. There's Ethereum Spinner from our opponent, so they get a 1/1 flyer every time they cast a spell with mana value 4 or greater. Embalm doesn't count as casting, though. They just create a token, so at least they won't get a Thopter there, making another Ulvenwald Hydra. But they will when they cast other big stuff. Alright, yep, another Ulvenwald Hydra it is. But this one is a white zombie version. It's a mummified Ulvenwald Hydra, which is a terrifying image to picture in your head. Neith of the Dire Hunt. Oh, that can force blocks and double power, but without any trample, that's okay. And even if they force blocks, then fine, we block with a servo. We were going to do that anyway. Neith is not super bad for us. Alright. Do I want to do anything before this Cathar's Crusade here? It's going to cost 5 mana to play it. We have 7 mana total, so I could use Bag of Holding before, but then I just draw discard and just discard anything that isn't Cathar's Crusade. Yeah, there's nothing. I just don't have enough mana to scry before I do this, so there's no reason to. Yeah, we'll just draw a card. Terramorphic Expanse is the draw. Go to the main phase. Definitely just cast Cathar's Crusade. Get a +1/+1 counter on everybody. And get a Pegasus. So in order to get another Griffin, I need to gain at least 3 life here. And I can do that by attacking with any of my life-linking creatures. So I could attack with Angel of Invention here, I suppose, rather than the Archon, because again, the Archon could be really good. We really need to get a token in the end step, because if we get another creature token, we get another +1/+1 counter on all our creatures. I guess Angel of Invention is giving everything a +1/+1 permanently, but Archon of Sun's Grace can make more Pegasus, or Pegasi as soon as I draw another enchantment. How many enchantments are left in this deck? We have 1 more enchantment in the whole deck. We have 1 more enchantment in the next 16 cards, so I think we just attack with the Archon here. Let it trade for a Hydra, but let it trigger the Griffinary. Oh my god, they just chump block. Alright. That went a lot better for me than I thought it would. Because I don't think a trade with a Hydra would actually be that good for us there. But it would be better than not attacking. Or than attacking with the Angel of Invention. Alright. Cathar's Crusade just absolutely going off this game. Cavalier of Thorns from our opponent, which is another card big enough to make a Thopter token. They only have 4 cards left in their deck. I don't think there's anything in this cube that lets you win when your library's gone, so they might just mill out also. Timeless Witness is really good here, though. Just pick up the best card in their whole grave, which I guess would be Call in the Ambush, to kill our Archon here by fighting with their 14/14. We'll see what they pick up here. But Timeless Witness is really good at this point in the game because they've got a bunch of stuff in the graveyard. So, if they don't... Oh, Primal Might works as well. If they don't gain any life here, I think we have lethal because Reaper's Talisman's going to drain them for 2. So we can put them to 4. Plus, Warlock class is going to hit them for 1 more damage if they block. So we hit them for 3, and if they don't block, we hit them for more than 3. Just kill them on the spot. So by hitting them for 3, if we level Warlock class to level 3 again, the Warlock class will hit them for 3 more damage. Right? I'm pretty sure we have lethal here with Reaper's Talisman plus Warlock class. And just attack with anybody. Or we have to block that. It does have Trample, which is not great. I think we just block with a Servo. We could block with the Ghoul, because the Ghoul might come back later. Sure, block with the Ghoul. Cast out is the draw. We draw the 1 enchantment left in the deck. Still have the Archon out, so we can cast it if we want, just to get another Pegasus, but I think we stay diligent here and try to get the lethal, right? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We've got the Reaper's Talisman, so just attack with Archon of Sun's Grace and then level up Warlock class, and that's lethal, right? Warlock class, go. Yep, okay. Oh my god. That was a stressful one. I really thought they had it with those Hydras. But Cathar's Crusade was such a huge draw. Again, every game we've drawn Cathar's Crusade, that card is just gone off. We're 5-0. No losses here. No matter what, we're getting 4,000 gold out, which is what we spent in. What a run here with Oops All Spells. Just gonna disregard any of our previous names for the deck, because I already forgot them because they weren't as good. Oh no, it's supposed to be Oops All Permanents. I didn't even name it the right deck. See, this is how poorly my brain works. I think I'm holding on to Warlock class for this Archon of Sun's Grace here, which is pretty weird. But I don't think I'm doing the Clarion Spirit thing with Warlock class. Might play Spirit turn 3. That way I cast Spirit and Reaper's Talisman in the same turn. Yeah, that's the only way to guarantee I get a little 1-1 here. I think it's worth the wait. Like, this looks like the kind of hand that we're just going to overwhelm them. So we can take the initial hits here and not be as just hyper aggro. Just let them hit us with that Doomed Traveler and whatever else they're doing. So there's just a 1-1 that replaces itself with a 1-1 flyer when it dies. And then Izareth the Awakener works really well with creatures that like dying. There's also a Death Toucher. Izareth is scary. So get that Clarion Spirit value, getting that 1-1 flyer here. I am at the point I do really need to hit a land. Our 4-mana cards are super important here. Mainly the Archon of Sun's Grace, but Cast Out is really good to have. Especially if we can get our Archon out first to get a Griffin token when we play Cast Out. Or a Pegasus token. Getting mixed up with my 2/2 flyers. Parasitic Implant. They get to enchant one of our creatures. It's like the alien. They enchant one of our creatures and then an alien bursts out of it and kills it. And they get the alien on their field. Terrifying but really cool flavor on the card. Could double block and trade with Izareth here. But then they don't have any targets for their Parasitic Implant, and I would like them to get that out of the way before I cast Archon. So I'll just take it. Hopefully they'll want to Parasitic Implant my Clarion Spirit. Well, I mean, I guess immediately hitting the 4th land, now my options are to do very little, just like equip a Reaper's Talisman, or cast a Cast Out, or just cast Archon of Sun's Grace and just let them implant it. Because the creature survives until their next turn. So even if they Parasitic Implant my Archon of Sun's Grace, it's still going to hit them once and give me at least 1 Pegasus, maybe 2, if I hit a land again. I kind of feel like it's worth just jamming it out here. Oops. Even though they're just going to kill it. And then that's 1 removal spell down for Angel of Invention to just go off afterwards, and Angel of Invention is going to be a lot better if I have more creatures, like if I get 2 Pegasi from Archon of Sun's Grace here. Still have no creatures in their grave, right? Yeah, we'll just take that. Now we got a big old lifelinker on the board that's definitely going to hit them at least once. Alright, looks like it will hit them only once. But we do hit the land, which is beautiful. Now we go off. Get a Pegasus. Get a Pegasus, kill their best creature. And get a Spirits. And now next turn we have the 5 mana we need to play a creature that comes onto this board and gives our whole field +1/+1, which is really good with how wide our board is. So choosing to play Archon of Sun's Grace into the Parasitic Implant did end up working out really well there because we got lucky with that land draw. But it looks like it's really going to pan out here. I'm actually going to stack the power and toughness onto the Angel of Invention and just keep all of our power in the sky to make it more likely we just close out this game next turn. Even if they have a spot removal spell, just a removal spell that kills one creature to kill Angel Invention, we can just still kill them with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in the sky. So they have a couple reach blockers. They go block, they still die. Yeah, I believe we've just got there in the sky here. From curving out with Archon. Yep, block 2 things, take 7. Or 6. Or 7? It was 7. I'm horrible at math. Okay. Good lord, this deck. Deck has been absolutely bonkers. We're at 6 wins now, 6-0, 5,000 gold, and 3 cards being the reward. If I win, oh my, let me actually rename the deck the correct thing this time around. This has been a super fun draft, so thank you everybody who's stopped by the completely impromptu stream today, because you all have made this stream very fun. Oops, all permanents. We're going to fix the name for the very last, well, potentially last game. If we win this game, this will be my first 7-0 in the Tinkerer's Cube. And they were some really hard-fought games, too. There were some of those I really didn't think I was going to win, especially after making some big misplays throughout the draft. Alright, oh my god, the turn 4 Archon of Sun's Grace. I'm gonna cast Clarion Spirit here, and it's possible we get lucky and hit a 1-mana card to cast Dancing Sword plus a 1-drop. It's definitely not right to hold on to Clarion Spirit there because we have another 2-drop to try to double spell with. If we're gonna hit a 1-drop anyway, so there's no reason to try to double spell with the Spirit itself. So I guess we're just curving out aggressively here. Clarion Spirit into Blade Splicer. A Filigree Familiar from our opponent. Oh yeah, Blade Splicer's Phyrexian. Yeah, they've thrown the Phyrexian card type onto everything remotely related to the Phyrexians. I think I just play Archon here. It's not like we have an enchantment to play, but still, just a good flyer to send in. And if we just hit a land, we get to throw a sword onto our Archon to hit for 5 in the sky. Ooh, another 2-mana card. Really beautiful here. We're going to get a token from Clarion Spirit, and we'll still have the mana to equip this onto Archon of Sun's Grace. Time to build 5-color Phyrexians and Brawl. That would be cool. There's a lot of Phyrexians on Arena now that they added the subtype. Which is really cool, because Arena's like the only place that you get to see all of the cards that got errated. If you're just playing with the cards in paper, you're going to be like, okay, I don't know what's a Phyrexian. Like, this card just says Human Artificer in paper. Is Cast Out just lethal? 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12? Oh my god! The fastest Game 7 for the 7-0 Tinkerer's Cube draft? The nuts hand here? Oh god, alright. Well, that was disgusting. That was an absolute beating. Definitely gotta feel bad for our opponent there, but wow, what a draft for us. Well, that is going to end that draft with oops, all permanents there. The name started as the Harmonious Crusade. Life gain and +1/+1 counters and tokens and stuff. Just a nice aggressive white-black deck with a few different synergies like that. Overperformers and underperformers, I would say Cathar's Crusade was absolutely bonkers every game we did it. Clarion Spirit, we've already known how good that is, but it was great throughout as well. And the Archon that we picked up early on was great as well. Angel of Invention's your most picked card in Cube. That card is super sweet as well. Very, very powerful card for any aggressive decks. I don't think we got to cast Archon, the Harmonious Archon, today. Maybe we played it once, but I just remember the first time that I drafted Harmonious Archon with that green-white enchantment deck. That card was absurd. Yeah, super sweet deck here. Yeah, not much else to say there. Having 3 different like artifact-based value cards was nice too. Bag of Holding, Mazemind Tome, and the Treasure Map. But that will lead into a clean 7-0, my first 7-0 of all of these drafts. But that is going to end the draft for today. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you again for some more Magic Arena very soon.